Imagine a trolley problem on a galactic scale. To cure crushing resource scarcity, humanity must expand to the stars. But piloting those ships requires a permanent, devastating sacrifice from the crews who fly them. To understand the cost, we must look at the Lexman space drive. Approaching light speed triggers the Fitzgerald contraction, slowing time for travelers. A voyage feeling like 6 weeks to the crew results in 9 years of aging on Earth. This creates a permanent, segregated guild of spacers. They live their entire lives in the vacuum because every time they return home, their families have aged decades, the language has shifted, and their old world disappeared. Alan Donnell and his twin brother Steve are the human results of this math. Raised of the starship Valhalla, they are 17-year-old twins in a universe where home is a planet they've only seen for a few days at a time. When Steve jumps ship to stay on Earth, the twin bond is severed by physics. By the time the Valhalla returns from its next short trip, Steve is a 26-year-old man, while Alan is still 17. To find his brother, Alan must abandon his life and step into a world that has aged nearly a decade without him. Interstellar progress is only possible by treating human relationships and biological age as variables that can be spent to balance a physics equation. Alan arrives on an Earth that has optimized itself for survival. With billions of people competing for space, the planet has abandoned individual liberty to prevent total societal collapse. Every aspect of life is regulated. Hereditary guilds dictate your job, and mandatory spending laws keep the economy from stalling. It is a society where every movement is calculated to ensure the survival of the mass. The center of this state is the televector registry. Every citizen emits a biological resonance wave, a digital fingerprint that cannot be hidden. This wave connects to a global grid, tracking everyone in real time. Authorities pinpoint a suspect's exact coordinates instantly, making crime nearly impossible. To achieve this perfect collective security, the population has accepted the total loss of privacy. You are never alone, never untracked, and never truly autonomous. On Earth, the individual is reduced to a tracked data point. Total surveillance is the price paid for a stable, predictable world. In this world of rigid math, Alan meets Max Hawkes. Max is a gambler who operates in the cracks of the system, winning by calculating the statistical odds of a world that thinks it has eliminated risk. Max organizes a 10-man syndicate for a massive bank heist, using high-tech wave dampers to freeze the bank's robotic guards. On this tracking graph, the grid monitors 9 syndicate members, but Alan, a spacer with no televector number, is an untracked node, a ghost. Max uses Alan as the getaway driver because he is the only variable capable of bypassing the grid's defenses unseen. That Max's calculus was even colder than Alan realized. He anticipated the heist's failure and his own death. He filed a will with the police a week before the robbery, timing his own demise to ensure Alan would inherit his fortune legally. In a truly utilitarian world, even the leader is a disposable asset. Max treated his own life as a calculated expense to achieve a specific result for his protege. The heist fails, and Max is killed just as he predicted. Alan is left as a wealthy survivor, inheriting millions because the law cannot prosecute a man for a crime the mastermind admitted he forced him to commit. Alan realizes that while the televector grid provides security, it has created a stagnant, hollow world. He sees dream dust addicts rotting in the streets, ignored by a system that only cares that they are tracked, not that they are living. The perfect society has prioritized the stability of the machine over the value of the humans inside it. Alan rejects the idea that human sacrifice is a necessary trade-off. He begins a global search for the suppressed notebooks of James Cavor, a marginalized scientist who claimed that the limit of light speed was a flawed assumption. This was not a quick discovery. Alan spent 5 years and the bulk of his fortune building the Hawkes Memorial Laboratory. His team struggled with Cavor's math, which was so complex it required a new generation of physicists to translate. They built the Cavor hyperdrive, a device that folds the dimensional plane to jump across space instantaneously. By jumping across space, the ship avoids the speed of light trap. Subjective time on the starship and objective time on the planet are finally synchronized. The wall between spacers and earthers collapses. Families are no longer torn apart by physics, and the need for segregated castes and the surveillance needed to manage them simply vanishes. While utilitarianism tells us to accept brutal compromises for the sake of survival, true progress comes from refusing the choice entirely. We don't have to balance a broken equation, we can change the math.